then yeah, they do. Yes. So, well, yeah. How I go?
said to the surgeon the last time he was in, I said, I can see, but they said it's not as clear as it anticipated. Well, that's because you have cataract. It's like, why didn't you take cataract?
While you're there, yeah. It might be a different kind of, so do you have to have cataract surgery now?
At some point in time.
Yeah, I did. I had both eyes. Years ago. And it's nice. I mean, I'm back to only needing glasses to read,
Yeah.
which is pros and cons there because I never combined morning.
Hold on. You're not grieving? I thought I'd see you, sitting at the table.
Yeah.
Hi.
Says that they're on something now.
We were on to you pretty quickly. It only happens. It only works once.
We got 2 days out of it.
It only works the first time.
I'm coming with you. If anybody shows up to sign in, just have them.
We decided not to have hearings.
I showed up yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh,
I thought I saw you around.
And wondered,
Where is
why
everybody?
isn't anybody up here? Well, I did, yeah. So was buddy.
kind of surprised, at least not. Only aware of one, but none in my area.
I have trouble with it.
Get yourself a new puppy? What kind?
Another golden.
Okay. You guys, we're getting tired of having that big house and no little pitter patter of little feet.
Well, we lost our last one.
Yeah.
That was probably. Yeah.
How old?
She's 4 months.
Okay. Okay.
Mine is this one.
Okay.
That one. That's her sister.
Okay. And you know who got the sister?
Brad O'Connor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 6th. This is the City of Syracuse Board of Assessment Review and 2024 session. We'll introduce ourselves. My name is Joe Saya. I'm the chairman of the board.
My name is Donna Moore.
Rob.
Okay. And we have a quorum. There's two members that did not make it this morning, and but no problem. We can proceed as normal. So we have one person here, and what I'll have you do, if you would, is just come on up, have a seat here, bring your materials. I'll swear you in, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, please.
Morning.
Good morning.
I even found a parking place.
That's a plus.
That's excellent, because that's usually not the case.
That is not the case.
Which property are you here for? 749 Stenard Ave?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. All right. So let me just find it on here and make a note. Okay, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
James Christensen?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Let me read the property in, some of the particulars, and then I'll turn it over to you, and I'll carry you along, if you will.
Okay.
All right.
Need to be carried.
No problem. 749 Stenard Ave. Let's see here. This is a single-family residence. Okay, let's see what we got here. 2024 assessment, I believe, Ed, is 114,000, and that's proposed with a land value of 25,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $110,000, and that is an assessed value of $68,750. Ed, what I'd like to do, you've got the calculator.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
You said an assessed value of 68,000. What's that mean?
That's what you're taxed on. That's
I thought we were 100%.
No, we're not 100. What are we this year?
62.5.
62.5, right? So hold that thought, and I'll explain a little further. Ed, can you give me the full value, full market value on 114,000? Oh, okay. Nope, that's fine, Ed. I got you, and I thank you. I forgot that we did this last year as well. So, okay, so 182.4.
And that's just 110 or 114 divided by 62.
62.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what we try to do is apples to apples type
Sure.
thing.
I thought
So.
we were at 100%. That's why I just questioned.
No, but I'll give you the figures that we're comparing. So the city has a current tentative assessment of 114,000 with a land value of 25,000. So that equates to a market value of 182,400. So market value wise, the city believes that the property is worth 182,400. Okay? Now you're coming in saying that you believe that the property's worth market value wise 110,000, which would equate to an assessment of $68,750. So what we like to do is have all the numbers as far as what you're thinking market value wise and assessment, and then the same thing on the city side, which we now have.
All right, question. I say 110,000 is what I say is market value. And, divide that by .625, that's more than 68,000.
Okay, I'm going off of your figure here, but unless, what do we have, 110,000, add, what's the assessed value on that?
Again, my, wait a minute.
I've got 68,750 is what I've got on my sheet. Okay, yeah.
That is not the full market value at 110,000.
No, the 110,000 is what you think the property's worth, is that correct?
That's,
This is how you filled it out?
yes, exactly.
Okay, so you think the price, if you were gonna sell the property, you believe you could get 110,000
Yes,
for it?
I'd be happy with that,
Okay, all right, so that's, again, going off of what you filled out. So we're on the same page as far as the city believes it's worth 182.4, you think it's worth 110,000 market value wise. And then we have the, assessments at 114 and 68,750. Does that sound about right?
Big gap there.
Well, again, what are we on, 62.5?
62.5.
62.5.
So there isn't that much of a gap.
Well, again, as far as New York State is concerned, they give us the multiplier and, for tax purposes, so that's what we have to go on. Really, I think you want to debate what your house is worth, and then we back into the assessment from there, right? Okay, all right, so single-family residence, let's see if I can just pull any other information out, and then we will turn it over to you. Do you live in this house?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you owned it?
Since 92.
Since 92, okay, all right. So we're not gonna worry too much about what you paid for it at that time. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the house and why you believe it's worth 110,000?
The house is 100 years old, as they all are in that neighborhood. Sometime in the 20s, I'm not sure what year my house was built. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 family, as you mentioned. The bathroom and kitchen were updated in 92 when we bought it. There's an attached garage around back that we can't use except for storage because it goes down a steep hill and around a corner, and it's real tiny, single car garage. On top of the garage is a deck that we use in the summertime to cook out and recreate, whatever. The driveway is tarviaed back 40 years ago, so it's kind of moss covered, and I mow the driveway now.
Okay.
But the cars, we don't put them down there. We park out near the street. The house is a family home that I was born in this house, but when I grew up and got married and had kids, of course, I didn't live there. I was 30 years over by on Roberts Ave, which isn't far away. And my mom lived there, and she put it in a trust for the boys. I had 2 brothers, and so when she could no longer live there, the trust said, you have to sell it. And so my brothers weren't interested, so I bought it from their interest from them. And then I was out in the country in Janesville, and I and my wife and 2 kids moved back into the home, which I knew every sound in it because I grew up there.
Sure, that's nice. That's a nice story.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Why I think it's worth less? I wanted to thank the assessment department because I did all this research online, and last time I had to go into the bowels of the basement and work on it off the books.
Right.
And so now it's kind of easy. I have a cup of coffee in my hand and I can go and I can look. So I looked at every one of my neighbors all the way around the block on both sides of the street, you know, through the map like this. And I looked and I looked at the land tax first because I thought mine was a little high. And I know from the 2011 assessment that you're not going to adjust the land tax any, but it is part of the whole total. But I looked at the land tax per square foot as published on all the other tax records, mine included, for all of these folks. I find the map. For all of these folks. And I found that I was taxed higher. I want to get the right number. My land tax per square foot is higher than 31 neighbors. I determined it was $3.66 per square foot, and the average was $2.55 per square foot. But anyway, so
I was gonna say, I'll hear you out, but don't pay too much attention to the land tax. Let's talk about the macro.
Okay, so since the land is part of the macro, okay, then I thought that was an issue that I could use to say, hey, my macro shouldn't be changed that much because my land tax is so high. But anyway, I know it's not gonna go down.
Okay.
And then I was here, although I don't remember it, but I did participate in the same deal back in 2011. And I submitted blueprints of the property because the square footage of the house was way high.
Okay. Did
Based
they get
on the
adjusted at that
blueprints
time?
that were, you know, I still have the blueprints that the house was built to. And I sent those in, and you folks accepted that and said, we're gonna lower your square footage published, and you also lowered the assessment increase. So I was happy, you guys were happy, whatever.
Okay.
And so the second and last thing I had was, I reiterated that the square footage was still, as published, was 126 square feet higher than, from the blueprints, than what you
Then what we still have?
You never adjusted that down, well, you did adjust it, but you didn't adjust it down enough as far as I was concerned based on the blueprint. And so those are my two issues, and I'm more than willing to live with whatever assessment you think is fair. I thought that 110 would be good for me, you know, being retired and all that. And it is an increase, but it's not as much of an increase as you folks think I should pay.
Okay. So just based on that little comment, is that what you think, if you put the house on the market, you believe that you would only get 110,000?
I believe that the neighborhood supports that, and I think my house is worth that.
Good answer. What do you have for square footage?
If we have 1996, the discrepancy is he's looking at blueprints. An architect looks at properties from the inside of that building. As an appraisal, we measure from the outside. 126 square feet is, while there'd be a slight adjustment, it's not going to be a significant adjustment.
I get that.
I didn't measure the inside. I used the outside dimensions on the blueprint.
You referred to
And I listed
architect's
them.
plans.
Yes, but I used
The architects use interior measurements.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue, but I believe I used the outside dimensions. I did measure the outside of the house, compared it to the, you know, what was on the blueprints. It was pretty much the same. I didn't climb up on the ladder and measure the outside of the second floor.
Nobody would. An
But I used the blueprints, because they were good on the first floor, I figured they were good on the second floor too, so, yeah.
All right. Ed, what do you have to say as far as
Yeah,
comps?
the last several years, the Strathmore area has seen a significant growth, significant. And while I didn't go out and chase sales or anything else, the sales in the neighborhood more than support the adjustment that I made to the property. Got a few sales here, one on Charmouth, 603 Charmouth, sold for $245. Another one at 608 Charmouth, sold for $180. One at 403 Robino, $191.
Let's stay on one thing for a second. Was this an increase in assessment this
It
year?
was an increase in the assessment. I increased them $9,000 for this year. So it went from 105 to 114.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to know that for my thoughts.
You know, I mean, the sales are more than supportive of where we're at. Petitioner,
I agree.
you know, I mean, it is, you know, I mean, the sales more than support. And if I were the homeowner in that neighborhood, I'd be thrilled that my property went from, you know, an assessed value of 105, thinking it was worth 150 something, and 180 in a couple of years. It's, you know, the area has not been looked at since 2011. So we've also had 10 years go by, 13 years go by in that period of time with no adjustment to the assessment. It was time to look at the area. You know, I've got several, I don't want to, you know, I'll let you look at the comps I got. I feel that the assessment is more than fair on the property. I'm going to make this offer to this gentleman because I see here that I'm assuming you're over 65 years of
Yeah.
age.
A
So
year or
he's
two.
got a basic star exemption on his property. There are two exemptions that he may qualify for, but he's got to get back in here before the board convenes. If you qualify, if your income is less than the 98,700, you can increase your basic star exemption to an enhanced star exemption. That's gonna be another $500 approximately savings off your city and school tax bill only. Then there is a second exemption, again for people over 65 years of age. This is called the senior exemption. And the senior exemption takes a percentage. The income limit for that is $58,400. It went from $38,400 to $58,400 this year. It's a huge increase, and more seniors qualify because many of them are living on a small pension and Social Security, and so we've had, you know, a lot more people qualify. So I'm going to offer those to Mr. Christensen.
Do these assessment reductions, do they, the house is in a trust, and we are
You're the
not
beneficiary
owners.
of the trust.
No,
You're not.
no.
Well, then you wouldn't qualify. You have to
That's-
be the beneficiary of the trust.
It's in trust for my children.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay,
In fact, I hate to say this,
but I shouldn't be here, right?
no, but you just shouldn't even have a basic star exemption on the property, which means that, you know, that's about a $400 increase that would go up on
I shouldn't come.
that. Well, you live and learn, I guess. It's, you know, I mean, try to be fair with everybody. I did see that it was a basic star on the property, and so.
Yeah, that's, you know, up to you. That may catch up with you, you know, as far as, so, you know, you'll have to feel is
Well,
right as
should-
far
should
as that's
I-
concerned.
Uh,
How long has the Basic Star been on it?
Oh, that I
Forever.
can't tell you. Yeah, it's probably been on there for, when did you put it in a trust?
Oh,
I think I might know that answer.
5 years ago.
So, an idea, just an
19,
idea, you and your wife are living there,
Yes,
and you wanted your children to be the beneficiaries, so you wanted to hand it down to them when you're no longer here,
yes.
correct? There is you'd have to go to an attorney, maybe give yourself life use, change it from a trust to a life use, you and your wife have life use.
Oh, we have that.
But it doesn't state, a trust, we'd have to see a copy of the trust in order to, but you said you weren't the beneficiary of the trust. You can't.
But we have lifetime use, so we pay all the bills.
Well, you might pay the bills, but unless it's written into the deed that you are the life user, you don't have life use. You could have that agreement with your kids, but that doesn't make it a legal thing.
I believe that that was written in because,
Then we'd like to see, I'm gonna give you the applications, but we're gonna have to see a copy of the trust, because if you're not the beneficiary of the trust, and I'm not an attorney, these guys are, they would be able to verify whether or not you're qualified.
It's my understanding that the enhanced star is effective in this instance. There's a trust on the property. If the resident is over 65 and pays taxes on, but if the resident is over 65, but not responsible, not eligible. It is my impression that Mr. Christensen would be eligible for an enhanced star as he is property taxes regardless of whether he
I guess I've been told differently, and
That's my understanding of
Okay.
the enhanced star.
I would tell you to apply for it, and it will be reviewed by the board, and we'll get clarification on
okay, if
that.
I didn't do anything, am I gonna go to jail?
Why would you go to jail? What did you do?
Because
You're
I'm
getting the exemption, well, you're saying that you think the exemption is okay.
I believe he would be entitled to the enhanced star, yes.
What about the basic star?
I
You
believe-
still have
I
that, but
believe-
it would go from a basic start, you'd get an additional $500 savings off of the city and school only, doesn't affect your county.
Right.
The senior exemption is a percentage off the assessed value. If your income is below the 58,400, you would qualify, and it's on a sliding scale, anywhere from 5 to 50% off your assessed value.
Okay.
If you qualify, you probably would be paying less in taxes this coming cycle if if your income's less than 50,000, you absolutely would be less than that. But again,
Okay.
I guess we need to have a discussion with the people that run the department. I just work there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think the savings is gonna come if you get the enhanced star, I think.
Okay.
And I would maybe consult with your attorney, definitely keep it in trust, obviously, you're trying to keep nursing home at bay type thing, and that's a good thing. So I wouldn't change any of that. So it sounds like, you could get a little bit more savings on the enhanced star, and I think that's the route I would probably take.
Okay, and so the result here, you're gonna let us know,
Gonna let you know, send it, we didn't make a decision.
Yes.
But based on everything, I think I know where we're going.
okay,
But we'll send you a notice, the city will send you a notice first week of April.
okay,
All right?
yeah, first week of April.
April, right.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. But yeah, definitely check on the enhanced star, because it sounds from the city attorneys that you would be eligible.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Okay. Did you want to tell me anything specific, or just that this was next?
No,
on it?
that's the next one.
Okay, great, thank you. Good morning, how are you? Good, good, thanks. 125 Columbia is what you're here for, correct? Okay. Let me just, find that. Okay. I'm gonna swear you in, then I'll read some information in, and then we'll get some feedback from you. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, great. If you could just slide that, yeah, that's great. This way we capture everything you got to say. So this is 125 Columbia Ave. This is a single-family residence?
Yes.
Okay. We have a current tentative assessment of $208,000 with a land value of $8,400. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $161,600, which would be an assessed value of 101. Okay, I just want to write one thing down here. All right, so Ed, I just want to clarify. The assessed value is 130,000?
Yes, it is.
All right, so it's not 208. Okay. So the current tentative is 130,000, which would be a market value of 208. Okay. So apples to apples, we've got a current tentative assessment of 130,000.
Yep.
You believe it should be 101,000.
Yes.
City believes the property is worth 208,000, and you're at 161,600. Sound about right?
Yep.
Okay. So, let me just see if I can pull out a little bit here. All right, so it looks like you paid 190,000 on August 10th of 2021. And any special circumstances as far as the sale was concerned, or the purchase, I should say?
No, I bought it. I was buying it from just a normal house
Arm's
sale.
length, okay. So now help me.
Yep.
You paid 190
Yes.
in 2021, but now you think it's worth 161,600.
Yeah, it's based on comparable sales on my street in the past couple of years.
You think property values, how did you arrive at the 190,000?
Well, my family lives in Strathmore neighborhood. My mom, my grandma, my two uncles, so we have 4 houses in the neighborhood. So it was an offer that I
It
hoped
was
I
on
would
the
get
open
the house.
market, Realtor
Yes.
had it listed, what were they asking?
175 they were asking.
It was a multiple bid situation?
It was me and one other bid, and yeah, I went in high since I wasn't gonna live with my family.
All right, so again, you paid 190. Did you get a bank mortgage?
Yes.
So it appraised for what you paid for it.
I put 20% down, so I don't know. I can't remember if it actually appraised that or not.
It would have appraised
Okay.
for the purchase price
Okay.
or thereabouts.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the appraisal by chance?
I don't.
Okay. All right, well, so you know where I'm going here.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and rebut?
Okay. So I included a list of homes on my street.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have it.
Let's just see, yep, I got the same thing you have. Okay, it looks like we got a couple copies, so let's see what we got here. This is something different, all right.
That's different. It's the first short list here.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
But this has 6 homes that have sold in the last couple of years. 4 of them are on the 100 block of Columbia Ave. And the purchase prices ranging from 150 to 175. Photos for these houses in here as well, but they're selling significantly lower than what I paid for my house. And judging from the photos, they've got similar interiors. The other thing is most of these houses have 2 bathrooms. My house is listed as a 2-bath, but half bathroom, unlike these other homes, is a toilet just in the basement with half walls, no sink or anything, so it's kind of just sitting down there, not that usable.
Okay, so other than that, there's 1 bath. What floor is that on?
The full bathroom's on the 2nd floor.
Second floor?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's nothing on the first floor, no half a bath, no nothing? Okay.
And then looking at the comparables, my house in general is less square feet, and then that second half bath, first half bath. So based on the photos of these other houses in my house, 4 of these were on my block. I think that justification to pull us up.
Again, you establish market value by paying 190,
Okay,
so that's the problem,
okay.
okay? So, we got to say,
Yeah, the comparable sales I have range from 187, the low's 187.5. No, I'm sorry, 180. They go all the way up to 256. Not suggesting that the property is worth 256. I do, based on the way the market has been over the past several years, since he's bought his property, the market still shows no signs of slowing down. It may be slow, taking a little bit more time to market them, but things are still coming in way above what they were assessed for, and in many cases, above asking. In this area, in central New York, we have not seen a market like that. In the 40 years that I've been in the business, it's never been like that. I have lived in other markets, in the Boston market, where I did observe that as a younger person. I think Syracuse has been undervalued for numerous years, and that I'm hopeful that maybe the time for Syracuse is starting to come back. Time will tell. Based on the current sales information I have, I feel comfortable with what the new assessment on the property is.
anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I know houses are selling for more and stuff, but, I mean, looking at these 4 houses that have sold from 2021 to 2022 on my street, I mean, the highest one there is 165.5. I mean, Strathmore neighborhood, depending on where you go, there's houses there going for a lot more money. My house is 1,500 square feet, got the 1 full bathroom on the 2nd floor. I mean, you go through Strathmore, some of those houses are 25,000 square feet, 3 bathrooms.
2,500
There's no
square feet.
$25,000 square foot houses in Strathmore, and all my comparable sales are in the same size vicinity as Mr. McDermott's.
Yeah.
And they're all, some of the sales are from 2023. You're using 2021, the closer
Yeah, I
the
know.
sales are,
2 of these are 2023 and 2 of them are 2022. So,
Yeah. Again, you know, I'm gonna hang my hat on what you paid,
okay.
and, given that and, where the market has gone, it's a little tough to, say that it's worth less.
Okay. Yeah, and then I guess just I pulled every other house on my street, and I'm being taxed 25% higher than any other house. So, and some of
no two
they-
houses on the street are exactly the same.
Right.
In the city of Syracuse, it's very difficult to, I walked by your house and took pictures. I pride myself in being familiar with the area. I did not grow up that's a good thing. Your parents.
Sounds like you probably should have come in
Nice
today.
family, very nice family.
Thank you. So you really check things out, apparently.
It's my nature to look at.
Yep, I see that. Thank God I didn't grieve my taxes. You'd be sleeping on my front porch.
You're not here to grieve your taxes, you're here to grieve your assessment, sir.
That's right, too. Thank you, I stand corrected. Anyway, serious matter, of course. Just a little fun, but, and we haven't made any decisions, but is there anything, I have what, and these are, I assume, current assessments. In other words, the new tentatives that you pulled.
Yeah, I have,
This isn't old information from last year, the assessed
no,
comparisons.
so it has 2023 and 2024.
Okay, I
in
got
the
it.
two columns there, yeah.
Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
and I also, for the entire street, I pulled square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and the max assessed value is 105 on the street, and I'm at 130.
You want to take a look at that just real quick?
Yeah, I mean, some of the houses on my street went up to 20, but they're still below 105, and I'm at 130.
I wasn't trying to hurt you.
know.
Somebody's gotta be the top of the heap, and, you know.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I've got the
I mean, you've.
third smallest
I'm
house on the
impressed with what
street.
you did. What do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer.
Of course. Well, your thought process isn't bad, but I feel as if it's fair.
Okay, yep. All right, well, we'll take everything into consideration that both yourself and the city has presented. And again, I'm going to be hung a little bit on the what you paid. But we'll take a closer look,
Okay.
at least give you that, of course. And then we'll come up with a decision, and we'll send it, the city will send a notice first week of April.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
How's that sound? Thank you
All
for
right.
coming
Yep.
in, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. If you see somebody lurking in the shadows at night, it's probably Mr. Fole.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Hello there.
My niece is 60, so she doesn't qualify for any senior star
You're
stuff.
who?
My niece. She owns a house. I'm here for my niece.
Oh, you are?
Okay.
Did you get permission to?
Yes, she signed.
Signed
yeah.
off for you, okay.
All right, so have a seat there, and
Yeah,
you're
she-
here
No,
for,
the answer is if she's only 60, she doesn't qualify
Yeah.
for any additional exemption. 65's the magic number.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, yeah.
and
She-
so
yeah,
the
she's-
basic, she qualifies.
Yeah,
for.
she gets
Right,
the
what
basic.
property are we here to talk about?
So this is, just to confirm, 130 Thurlow Drive?
Yes.
Okay, all right, hold that thought for 1 minute.
Yep.
130 Thurlow, Ed.
And she has a basic star.
She has a basic star, okay, that sounds good. So, I'm gonna swear you in a second, but you're here for your sister,
My niece.
your niece, I'm
She's a
sorry.
nurse's aide and
Okay.
works full-time, so.
All right,
Hard
so,
for her to get in.
let's just confirm that. Okay, and she's Colleen?
She's Colleen, I'm Pamela, same
Okay.
last name, Murray.
Gotcha, okay, all right, we're good. Let me just swear you in, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Pamela Murray,
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, so let me read the property in. This is 130 Thurlow Drive. We it's a single-family residence?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And we have a current tentative assessment of 73,000?
That's correct.
Okay, with a land value of 17,500. Let me just find it here. Okay. So, 73,000, that'd be a full market value of 116,800. Okay. And then we have, petitioner believes the fair market value is $101,075, which is an equatable assessment of 63,172. Okay, so we got apples to apples. Let me just see if I can pull something else out of here. Looks like the property was purchased for $41,000, May 14th of 2003. It was a cash deal. And it looks like the Colleen's grandparents owned the property?
Yes, my parents, yeah.
Your parents owned the property, okay. And kitchen and laundry appliances came with it, okay. And let's see here. Apparently it was listed as a 4-bedroom, but it's really a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, I don't know where the 4-bedroom ever come from on that.
Okay.
Those are very small houses.
Okay, so that was on the listing. All right, so, and you have authorization to speak, so why don't you go ahead and do that?
Alrighty, I did make
Okay,
copies of this.
great. Thank you very much. You got an extra one, do you want one?
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't do 5, I thought it was 5.
that's okay.
I didn't do all the pictures, but that's the pictures of the places, I mean, they're all.
What you just gave us is ours to keep.
Yeah, you can have all that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. My spreadsheet might be a little confusing, I don't know, because I had to learn how to do a spreadsheet while I was doing this kind of.
No, that's fine,
And
take your time. Tell us,
my
just tell us about the
understanding-
house. We'll get into the numbers in a minute.
All right, well, it's, I just compared it to 10 other houses on the same street. There's either capes or ranches pretty much all on that street. So I
Stop you
took
for
all
a second.
capes.
Hold on one second. Was this an increase in assessment?
It was, it was a
33%, yes.
sizable increase. It's-
33%.
33%.
When the
Okay.
average increase on the street was, what, 16%?
I don't keep
Or
track.
my 10
of it.
houses, the average
I
increase I
went down,
had was 16.
I looked at the whole street, so. Some of them got increases, some of them didn't, some bigger, some less.
And it probably had, when was the last time it was looked at?
Oh, it's not since 2000, before 2007.
Okay, so
I'm sure
certainly,
the whole street was done at that time.
I can't, I wasn't here in 2007, I can't answer that.
They wouldn't skip around, but anyway, the 10 houses I took, they're all capes. They're all pretty much the same. They were pretty much tract houses, 1,080 square feet. Most of the people put additions on because the kitchens are tiny and a couple hundred feet. So I took the assessed value of the land or subtracted that from the total value of the house. I'm only using the house value and the difference in the square footage of the house to come up with an average square footage. So I could make the houses with more square footage comparable to my nieces. So I did that, and I put it on the spreadsheet and I made adjustments because some of them have a bath and a half now with these additions. Some of them have 2 baths. Some have fireplaces, enclosed porches. You know, any adjustments I could do to try to make the houses the same. And what I come up with the average of assessment of 63,172 and the full market value of the 101 by using the average of those houses.
okay, which we have.
And like I say, it just caught me when my niece told me it was a 33% increase. And I'm looking at the other houses and what they're evaluated at. And there's houses on here that are evaluated less than my niece's, and they got more square footage, and the houses are fine. They're not like a run-down you know, you could say the house just is in bad shape. You see the pictures, they're all pretty nice houses. They're
Yeah,
all,
comparable condition.
they're all kept up pretty nice.
Okay.
And they're all, I mean, they're very, very similar. They're this, you know, I lived in that neighborhood. They're in this, you go in one house and the other, they're laid out exactly the same until somebody did an addition.
So let me ask, this 33% increase, was she underassessed?
Yes,
And
in
now
my
she's
opinion,
back
she
up
was,
to,
it's, again, we're going back to 2007. The market has gone up, it's gone down. It's gone up incredibly over since COVID. It's gone up significant.
The other houses would have gone up significantly too.
well,
And the house right next door is the exact same assessment, and it's got a very large addition. It has a 200-foot addition, and it also has a 200-foot three-season room attached to that.
I address that. So, we do adjust by square footage. If somebody put an addition on the property that we're not aware of, or they made improvements to the property, which does occur, unfortunately, we wouldn't know that. We have to, I'm using data, information we have in our records. Unless I know that there's been an addition made to the property, I'm gonna make the assumption that our square footage is, and room count and everything else. We send out questionnaires when we do revaluations as far as the bedroom count. We don't adjust for bedrooms, so, you know, it's a square footage, it's an appraisal
either.
process. Please let me finish.
But I'm using your square footage figures, not something I pulled out of the air. That's on your tax records.
We're not talking about anybody else's property. You have to focus on your own property. Doesn't
No, I'm
matter what
supposed to
anybody.
be- I'm
Let me
supposed to be-
finish. I looked at every single property on that street on an individual basis. I don't go back and go, oh, I raised some 20%. I let the market tell me what the market's gonna do.
I don't see being able to sell my house, or my niece's house, for the same as these houses with additions are in the same condition. And I'm not saying people have hidden additions you don't know about. I'm using your square footages to compare these houses and to come up with a fair market value. I'm assuming you probably do get it right most of the time. That's why I use your values and adjusted them to match my niece's house. And I'm
Okay,
saying that
but we
it's
don't-
not,
we
I
don't
try to do
compare a
apples to
ranch.
apples.
We don't compare a ranch to a Cape Cod.
No,
You have a Cape
every one
Cod.
of these are a Cape.
Okay, all right, well,
There are some ranches, I left them out.
okay, all right,
I
so
tried to get the closest as I could. I mean, they're all built within 10 years of each other.
yep,
They're all, you know,
yep, no, I'm in agreement
I
with
mean, if
you
you
on
look at my
that.
spreadsheet, they're, except for, like I said, the additions, sometimes they now have a bath and a half, some have 2 baths. I mean, it makes a difference when you're selling a house.
oh, yeah,
How many
yep.
places now, people want more than 1 bathroom?
So would you like to hear how I came about my
Yes,
opinion?
yes, please.
So, you got one in Thurlow, couple houses down, it's sold for $114,000. You got another property on South Salina Street, now it's a busy thoroughfare. It's similar in size, sold for $156,000. Got another sale, not very far from her in East Warrington, that sold for $154,000. Again, you wouldn't even make an adjustment for the square footage. One on South Menlo that sold for $140,000. And another one on South Menlo that sold for $110,000. I feel that a market value of $116,800 is certainly falls within the parameters of the comparable sales.
But I can give you houses that just sold for $80,000, $80,000 within walking distance with 1,486 square feet. And then they also have a finished rec room of
We don't know whether,
455 feet. It's on
we
there.
don't know whether that's a foreclosure sale or a bank sale or an estate sale. We don't use those types of sales as an indicator of value.
All right, so
Well, it sold
let's,
for 58,000 with a sale that you could say in 2009. There's also one sold here for 110,000
When
and
did that
last
sell?
year, and that says value usable on your records. It has a bath and a half, almost, let's see, 1,190 square feet, and a finished rec room, which you don't include in that, for 195,
all right, so
and a larger garage.
let's do
And then
this.
there's another one that has sold for, I'm sorry, I got back and fronts here. It's got a bath and a half, 1,152 square feet,
All right, let
and
me,
it sold for 111.
What did it sell for,
So,
111?
and these are, this is, Monticello is like 2 blocks away.
There's 2 sales from
There's another Monticello 2 blocks away, Seneca Turnpike.
let me jump in here if I
I
could.
can give you those.
Yeah, all right, so these were not part of your analysis.
It's not part of the original ones because I figured, the houses on Thurlow, I couldn't find too many like comparable newer sales. I put the sales that were usable on the bottom of the spreadsheet, but most of them aren't like super new. Like a 2015 for 79,000 was the newest sale I had there. So I did go digging through to try to find some new ones. It's very hard to do though.
Well, no, you did a good job, and
I
Ed
mean,
did as
half
well.
the time when I went and found something comparable, I was, oh, now the usable sale, or, you know, it's
Yes.
worked out not to be at all comparable.
Oh, you submitted some good information, which
So,
we're
yeah,
gonna go
it's-
through.
It took me a lot of time just to try to go through that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Your job is to, prove your case.
Right, I understand
and
the
the cities
assessors
as well.
assumed right. But like I say,
The assessor's not assumed right. We're an independent board, right? So you present your case, they present theirs, we look at everything, and then we make an independent decision. Okay, so
I tried to
nobody's
choose-
assumed
I
right.
used their values,
Yeah,
you
that's
know what I
fine.
mean?
And we're gonna check their information
Yeah.
also. You've submitted some good stuff. We will take I'm gonna make a note here, we will take a closer look.
Appreciate it.
You're not far away, of course. City says 116.8, you're at 101.75.
Yeah, I'm
so,
not asking for it, I just want to get it comparable to the increases of the rest of the houses there, you know?
Well, again, we've gotta
And
look
we're trying to
into
get to a
that.
fair market value, and I'm assuming that he's doing due diligence, and most of the
Yes.
houses are probably assessed at approximately what they should be. I mean, yeah, everything is subjective to a point,
Yes. No, everything
so
you
I
said
understand that,
is
you know.
accurate, yeah.
Two people
There's
can
a-
look at the same house and say it's worth different amounts.
That's right. And again, it's not a perfect science.
Yeah,
They're-
no, it's not.
They're trying to be
Right.
fair, right?
That's what, yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
So that's why I was trying to compare apples to apples, and,
No,
excuse me.
You did a good job for your
Costs too much to
niece.
have an assessor come in, assessment done on a house. I mean, my niece can't afford that.
No, you did a good job. So we're gonna take everything into consideration, and then we'll send your niece a notice first week of April.
So you can understand my,
Oh,
my
absolutely.
spreadsheet, okay?
Yes, yes. No, I looked at it, and we will go through it, and I'm gonna make a note right now.
Yeah, I thought there'd be 5 people, so I did make 5 copies.
Yeah, nope, that's
Assuming you
fine.
don't want them.
Well, if you leave whatever you want, and we'll put it
Well,
in
they're
the
just duplicates
file.
of what I gave you. You don't have 2 other people looking at them later, do you?
We do.
Oh, okay, there you go then. That'll
So there, yeah, that's fine.
make it easier for them.
All right, so the city will send you a notice first week of April, and definitely appreciate everything that you had to say and your time in coming in today.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and I'm assuming it comes in the mail, US mail as opposed to
Yeah.
email?
Yeah, it'll come,
I have to yell at my niece to look at her email.
yeah, it'll come regular mail, yes. But no problem, and thank you. Anything else you guys want to add?
Okay,
Thank
well,
you for
thank you
coming
very
in.
much.
Okay.
John?
Good morning, how are you?
Well, thank you, and yourself.
Good, thank you. I'm gonna swear you in a minute, but
Yep.
just 105 Wellesley Road.
That's correct.
Okay. Let me just find it here. you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
John McMahon?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Great. Let me just read it in.
Yep.
We've got just the application here, which is okay. 105 Wellesley Road. It is a single-family residence. Do you live here?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, all right. So we have a total tentative assessment of 151,000 with a land value of 17,100. That would equate to a full market value of 241,600. Petitioner believes the fair market value is 195,000. Is it 195 or 195,500?
195.5.
195,500. Okay, yep. Because I have 121,875, but I'll hold that. And what can I pull out of here? $122,187. Okay. No purchase information. Looks like you've been here for a while.
Yeah, back in the 80s. Yeah,
Okay, all right, so
mid-80s.
longtime residents.
Yep.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you then, and you've got the floor.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing here. Thank you very much.
You?
Okay, so what I'm giving out is the reports from 105, according to the Onondaga Municipality of Syracuse ratings. So it's a stately home on Wellesley. It is a one-family. It is a side entrance colonial with a two-car garage. Built in 1926, 98 years old. The house itself is starting to show its age. I know that's not necessarily taken up in assessments, but it is a 98-year-old home. So assessments done on the exterior. I'm a building inspector. That's what I do. I work for the city. So part of what I do is both in permitting and siting of properties is we use what is commonly referred to as a discriminatory enforcement, or we must not use discriminatory enforcement on the property itself, meaning an unequal hand, that one property is treated differently than another, and or with an evil eye of an assumption of prejudice on that. Now, what we're looking at here is my assessment is 120 in 2023. It's gone up to a tentative 151. That's a 25.8% increase, or 26%. The value would increase by tentative by 29.8%. My contention is that although it is as I mentioned, it's a stately home. We've been there for years. We love the home. It is both in the mechanicals, being from the 1960s, the electrical service entrance from the 1960s. Our plumbing, we're basically wrapped in asbestos throughout the basement. I do have in that little, there was a walkthrough by Adrian, it's on the final page of his assessment of the property and what we're going to run into. So one of the concerns with the property is has a bedroom, 6 bedrooms, 4 baths. That was a third floor that was modified in the 1950s. If you pull the top of the toilet, it's 1957. If you look at the basic building structure via the molding and or the flooring, it's 9 by 10, a VCT asbestos tile. The linoleum is also probably installed with asbestos. So part of the concerns with the home would be on sale with an inspection would be the asbestos removal. The foundation, obviously 98 years old. We do have some moisture concerns. Again, It happens. We do have a tendency, there is the possibility of a black mold scenario. And obviously, the original single pane, double hung windows, 1926, all lead tested. They are all lead with lead paint. So modification on the home for sale as is with an actual inspection would not fall into the numbers of projected the 151. I do have photos, et cetera, of the asbestos. I don't know if you guys want that for your records or anything of that nature.
Definitely want the pictures.
Okay. Also, you're going to see that there is some present damage that's being done by the plumbing. Part of that was, it's basically, we're looking at the old galvanized plumbing done in 1926. So getting to the bones and the structure of this is, there are no access panels. It's always an intrusion. And finally, for the exterior, the two-car garage was built in 1930 as an addition. It has an asbestos roof on it. Now, again, jumping into asbestos, the only person that can remove that legally would be myself. Otherwise, I would have to have a contractor who is asbestos certified. That would run about $40,000 in itself, in and of itself. So I get where we're going. I had heard Ed on his, the assessment of each individual property and how the Syracuse market is increasing. And I don't disagree with that. It is. However, as mentioned by a former grievance person, all boats should rise with the rising of the assessments. I have 13 comps, everything from directly across the street to directly behind me to the corners. So I'm going from Wellesley, Columbia, Robino, Crossett, Roberts, and Strathmore. And I think that would entail a good portion. So my point there, and I can go through these one by one, but I don't think I have the time, but I can submit these for review. Of the 13 properties, the average increase was 6.5% versus my 26%. As I had mentioned, when I'm enforcing something, I have to do it with an equal hand. I know there will be a variance in property values. I don't disagree with that. But the variance from 6.5 on 13 properties, many of them are much grander when you get into the Roberts area and the Strathmore, actual Strathmore, than my house. I just feel it's, we're off. It's off. In reality, the house with an inspection would not sell for $240,000. I mean, I would take $195,500 right now and walk and be happy without an inspection. So it's not, again, I get it. It's not what I want. It's what I believe to be of value. So I can submit these at 13. They do have the photos. They do have the assessment values and the increase. Other concern would be the star, which, for some reason is being reduced by $910. I don't think that's a reflection on the property or what's happened here. It's a reflection, I believe, on what's going on in Syracuse. That's my contention. You'll see on the assessment there was a third floor. That has been abandoned. You'll see in the photos some of the properties from the 1950s. I don't know why, but they used exterior walls as stack walls. So for the third floor, it goes from our basement up through the living room and into the third floor. And in that situation, those pipes are exposed to an exterior wall, which is terrible. It's not best practices. The entire system there had to be abandoned. It's been cut off in my basement. It's not conditioned space. When I look at living space, I consider conditioned space. Third floor is no longer conditioned. So that reduces it down to a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. The bathroom itself up there has also been basically abandoned because of the leaking problems from the pipes. Again, not the concern of the assessment, but it's the reality of the house for sale. So that's where I'll go, and then I'll listen up.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Would you be willing to take a walk through of this
if Mr. McMahon wants me to, I would. I mean, the square footage, I acknowledge that we do have attic area included in our square footage of the building. I looked at the square footage of the first floor and the second floor and acknowledged that when I made my adjustments. I've got sales here that from 188 Ford to sell right across the street or a couple doors away at 99 Wellesley. That sold for $239. Got one on Glenwood sold for $188. One on Stenard, $230.
I don't dispute property values, but I want you just to take a look at some of these.
Well, I don't, you know, I'm gonna make this general statement. All those homes were built in
They all may be.
they all may have the same concerns that Mr. McMahon has. This is the attic, Mr. McMahon, that I'm looking at here.
Which photo, Ed? That's the second floor.
That's the
Actually,
second
that's
floor.
actually, but part of that is showing where the damages have been done. And then just the accessing of the second floor bathroom with the galvanized pipes going, and age grouping, so.
So you have been replacing some of the galvanized pipe with.
With PEX,
With
sure.
PEX.
As necessary, sure, yeah. Yeah, plumbers are tough to get, so.
You're a talented person.
Not that talented, thank you, though. No water under pressure.
You know, I mean, those things are things, there's, obviously, I looked at it from the street, so, he's shown you some issues that I certainly was, I mean, I actually raised it as much as I did because it's the same color as my house, and,
Actually, one of my comps is 300 overlook, so.
what are your, oh, you looked
Yes.
up my house.
I did. Thank you very much.
Are you sure you weren't lurking in the night?
No, I used the same computer and accessed it through the city the same way Ed does.
And I'll be honest with you, I've recently met John, and I met him at an unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, she lived 95, my Aunt Suki's funeral. And I met John after the funeral, and I've known the McMahon family forever. And I said something in my office the other day. I said, yeah, I met this guy at my Aunt Suki's house, and he turned around and looked at me and goes, it's my Aunt Sue. So we're not related, but we were related because my uncle was married to
Yes.
his aunt.
Shoestring cousins somehow.
Not atypical for the Strathmore neighborhood.
Yes, yeah.
He must not really like you either.
Well, apparently not.
To
No.
raise it up 25%.
Well,
When-
I
With
raised,
friends like that, who needs
I
any?
raised-
Exactly.
I
So
don't
thank you
look at
very much.
people's names, or I'd never be able to raise anything. I mean, I have to ignore their names when I wouldn't be able to do my job.
So on a serious note, yeah, I just wanted you to
Yeah,
take a
no, the
look at
house,
the.
he's made some good points, and I would probably have to concede some on, you guys make the right decision, be on fairness.
All right, so based on that, I think I accomplished what, at least laid the groundwork for some discussion.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and do that. Appreciate all the information that you've submitted. And the city will send you a notice first week of April. But we'll dig into this.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
promise
Actually,
you
99
that.
Wellesley is one of the comps I used. And I used it again, not on the sales, but on a assessed value in 2023, assessed value in 2024.
Okay.
So
All
that
right.
would be.
Oh, it's good, you did, pictures are always very helpful. And you've certainly done that, so we appreciate that.
Yep.
And again, send out a notice first week of April.
Sure, appreciate that. Thank you very much.
for coming
Take care.
in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ed, thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
swear you in a minute, but you're here for 605 Stenard Ave.
Correct.
Okay. We'll just make some notes here. Expecting a flawless presentation because you've been
Are
sitting
you
here
indeed?
and you've been cheating by listening to all these people, so we want it flawless.
I don't think you'll find it flawless.
Oh,
but
I'm sure
I'll do
we
my
will.
best.
I'm sure we will. Okay, so if I could just swear you in, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Maureen Craner?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
So this is 605 Stenard Ave.
That is correct.
How is it pronounced?
Stenard, as far as I
Stenard?
know.
I thought so, but Stenard.
Some people
yeah.
say Stennard, but I
Yeah,
always said
yeah,
Stenard.
But Stenard,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so this is a single-family home. You live here?
I do.
All right. And so let me just read off some numbers here, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So we have, okay, 2024, we've got a current tentative assessment of $110,000 with a land value of $17,100. You gave me some 2023 figures. Thank you for that. That would equate to a market value of $176,000. Okay. As far as the city's concerned. Now, we need to get an estimate of what you think your property's worth, because on the form here, it's blank.
Yes, and when you read the instructions, it advises you to leave it blank, basically.
Really?
Yes. I read the instructions for this form, and it suggests that you not put a value in because then it might be lower than what you're suggesting, so I didn't do that.
Okay, so we need to have something to
Okay.
work off of.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but I assume you have something in mind as to what you think it's worth?
You do. I mean, I would think it would sell somewhere in the 150s,
Okay.
mid to low 50s, maybe.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you put a figure down, but don't overshoot it.
No, I don't want to.
That's fine. We just need something to go off of.
Okay.
Whatever you put down, though, we cannot go below.
That's why they suggested on the instructions to not do that,
Right,
as
right,
I understood it, so.
right.
I really
But,
don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm not an assessment
Do
person.
we have to have something written down?
How do you
Right.
grieve something if you don't know what it's worth?
Right. It's okay. So my I don't want to put you on the spot, but we've got to get something, so, I don't want to say to undershoot it, but, give me something to work off of.
So that's one circumstance in which, the stipulated, assessment is lower than how much it is,
Oh,
work
okay.
out at the settlement, but as far as reducing the assessment, that is a great
Okay. So what he's saying is whatever is put on this form, we have to hold to as the independent body. If for some reason you and the city got together after the fact, I guess, then it's possible that that figure could go lower. I don't want to.
Typically, it's before. If she'd come in and she said, let's stipulate to something.
Yeah, okay.
We don't, our
Yeah,
hands
after
are,
the
our
fact,
our
yeah.
hands are tied at this point in time. Whatever you guys make as a decision is a decision. It's,
Okay.
I can't go in and, after she sits here and stipulate to a number. We might come close, but, you know, I mean, at this point in time, it's in your hands.
Okay, so I do need you to put something down. The city thinks that your property is worth around $176,000.
Correct.
Okay? So what I need you to do is, you know, within reason, put down what you think your property, would sell for in today's market. You know, understanding that, you know, that figure there is, you know, what we have to go off of. Okay. Yeah, so she's put on here 145,000 is what she believes the market value is. 90,625. Okay, so I'm not gonna belabor this point, but I just wanna go over the numbers with you again, just so you're understanding. So, the city's current tentative assessment is $110,000 for 2024. The land value is 17,100 of that. So the equatable full market value on that is $176,000. You think that your property is worth $145,000 market value wise, which means that you believe your assessed value should be $90,625.
Lower than it is now.
Okay,
Currently, it's
Yeah,
assessed
right.
at 95, okay.
yes, that's
Right.
correct, the current tentative. The 90,625 is 64.5, 62.5, I'm sorry, of the 145,000. Okay? All right, so we're on the same page. Let me just pull out a little bit more information, maybe. So it looks like you bought the property for $86,000 in April of 2000. It was a mortgage that you took out, yeah, okay. And that is pretty much it. And you said that you live here as your primary residence. Okay, that sounds good. You've got some information
I do.
here, and, okay.
Around me.
Okay, very good. Okay, let me turn it over to you then.
Okay, I looked at the properties on the sheet that I just handed you. I'm sorry, I only made one copy.
Okay.
But I was looking at, in terms of square footage of the houses, my house is, I think, possibly the smallest house on the block. It's 1,480 square feet. If you look at the properties that I've listed here, all of them are higher in square footage, some significantly, up to even 500 square feet. They are assessed higher than mine. However, I'm also looking at things like the number of bedrooms, which I think I heard you say earlier is irrelevant in
No,
your
it's not,
assessment.
it's not irrelevant, but, we zero in on square footage, right?
Okay,
How it's broken up inside the house
okay,
is relevant, but, you know, we don't,
it's a factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so my house was built in 1924. It has 3 bedrooms, one full bath, 1.5 bath. The windows are the old original double hung windows, so they're 100 years old. My roof is 20 years old. I don't have any central air conditioning. There's been no major, any kind of capital improvements on the property since I've owned it, maintenance types of things only. In looking at the properties on, again, next to me, around me, one sold recently for $201 across the street. It has 1,600 square feet and 3 bedrooms. However, it has new windows. It has a newer roof. Same thing with the house that's next to me that sold, I believe, 2 years ago. 117 square feet, 4 bedrooms, same number of bathrooms as mine, newer roof, central air, those types of factors. So in looking at the properties, yes, they're valued higher than mine, but just the difference between the value of mine and the value of theirs does not seem equitable. There is a house also on my street, 618 Stenard Ave, that was built in 1920, that has 1,994 square feet, 3 bedrooms, same number of bathrooms. I don't know about the windows. However, it's assessed, the tentative assessment is the same as mine.
Ed, anything you want to add?
Yeah,
I'll come back to you.
Okay.
so, interesting enough, there's a house at 631 Stenard. In 2020, it sold for $149,000. In 2022, it sold for $212,000. Yeah, I'm assuming that probably had some renovations done to it, but in 2 years, it's just showing that there's growth in the area. Is what I wanted to point out. And those were the that was the sale that happened 2 years ago. Was the lowest sale that I came up with. You've got a little bit, Alonson's a little bit tighter in neighborhood, sold for $217. There's another one at 237 that just sold for $187. It's you wouldn't even make an adjustment for the square footage. Sold for $187.5.
I'm sorry, what street is that?
637 Stenard.
Okay.
Sold for $187.5. I'm assuming that it's probably in similar condition as the subject. Wouldn't make an adjustment for size because it's less than 100 square feet. There's another sale at 643 Stenard. It is slightly bigger than the subject, actually about 200, not even 250 square feet, sold for 180 back in, again, 2021. It's a little bit older of a sale. Here's the one at 615 Stenard that sold for 220. That was, again, this one's a bigger home. I feel as if the assessment that we put on the property is fair.
Was this, and I might have missed it, was this an increase also?
It was a $15,000 increase.
Yeah, all right, I see that,
And again, we hadn't looked at the area since 2011. I'd like to offer her, is your income less than 58,000?
It is.
I want to
Well,
offer
now
you
wait, is this the senior citizen property?
senior citizens exemption.
I have that application here to turn in as well.
You do.
Yeah, I do. I spoke with the assessor, and he said that I could submit it at this
It
hearing.
would probably have been me you spoke to, but that's good.
It
You have it.
It wasn't you, but
Okay,
in the
okay.
assessor's office?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was a different gentleman, but
Okay.
he suggested I could handle it. I don't know if I'm eligible or not, because I don't know what all the exemptions are.
did you bring in your
I
proof
did.
of your income?
I did. I just filled out the application and brought all that in.
Oh, you've already handed it in already?
No,
or-
I have not. He
okay.
said I could do that today.
You can.
Yeah, okay. So I
Yeah,
do
so
have
we'll-
that.
We'll tell you where to go.
Yeah. He said because I
Well,
haven't,
actually, you want to put it in that file because all the grievances are in the files that they belong in. If she goes in and hands it downstairs, they may say, we got to fill out another grievance form. Doesn't. Okay.
They can kind of determine,
They will, if you go downstairs,
Yeah.
they'll calculate it right in front of
yeah,
you.
so this way you'll know. So let's do that, if you don't mind. We'll make a copy for you that we'll put in the file.
okay,
Give you back your original, and you can take that downstairs, and we'll tell you where to go.
okay.
You
So
wanna-
this is what you,
wanna
do you
make
want,
You want to make a copy of the grievance form so that each area has a grievance. 'cause she's gonna hand in that income information.
Oh, and they'll
Yeah,
want a
I
grievance
have my
form
driver's
also?
license.
Driver's
Do you-
license,
Do you
they
want
need all
all of
that.
that?
Just,
you
yeah,
need all-
just the front cover of it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have the documentation that's required for that as well? Okay.
So that, depending on where you fall,
Yeah.
did somebody go through the formula with you as far as how you calculate that?
No, that's why, again, I read the instructions for the form, and
It's confusing. Those
it's very,
forms-
well, it's very confusing, and it also says there's exemptions that different municipalities use different exemptions.
And some adopted it and some didn't. And
Correct.
things like that.
So when I say I qualify, I don't really know for sure. but,
Right, you know,
um,
we're gonna take all your social
Yep.
security,
Yep.
line 11,
Yep,
subtract 11A minus 6B,
right,
and then we're gonna add that to line 11, which is your adjusted, and that would give you, you know, and if you don't own anything other than your home, and you don't own a business, you haven't depreciated anything like that, or haven't hit on the lotto, we'd add that in, or subtract that out also.
I read the instructions, and I was so confused by the
No,
time I
it,
got done, I
it
just thought.
confuses us.
Really? That's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yes, and then it says at the end, on the form, it even says that
Well,
it's up
lawyers
to.
wrote these things, and they like to talk in confusing terms.
What's your favorite color?
Do you need any more information?
No, I need to know what your favorite color is.
I don't have a favorite color.
Oh, all right. Well,
Honestly, because it varies.
You don't qualify.
Okay. That's fine, and I may not, and that's, whatever. Legitimately,
It
I
could
may
say
not.
anywhere from 5 to 50% off of whatever. So you may walk out of here, whether they make a decision to make a reduction or not. You may walk out of here if you're a 50% or paying less in taxes than
Yeah.
what you did last year.
It doesn't, and that's no bearing, we don't
And
know.
that's property
and we don't
tax, which is
care.
different than the star tax, because that's for
This
school
is,
taxes.
this
Yeah.
is start, do you have the enhanced
Right.
star?
Yep, I have
You
that.
do have the
I do
enhanced-
have that, yes,
Okay,
I'm old.
So, well, that's all right. Everybody has to do something.
Oh, sure. What do you need? My tax form, right? Okay. Oh, you can take the whole thing, it's my W four and all that. I can put together.
Again, that has nothing to do with what we're doing. We're still,
right.
try to determine what the
Yes.
fair assessed
He
value
just
is.
advised me that I could do that, so I
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
So anyway, getting back to my property, I don't, again, I'm not sure what the criterion that you're using is, but I do have, it's the original plumbing. It's, the there've been upgrades to electric, but not since I have lived there. The old plaster walls, you have the typical seepage in the basements, all of those things that go along with older homes. And so when you talk about full market value, that's what you're assuming that the property would sell for. I don't believe my house would sell for what it's being valued at.
Hence the 145.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. Or whatever your determination is, but 176, I think, is very unrealistic for all of the factors that I've mentioned. And also in comparison to the other houses on the street. True, many of them have also been given a higher full market value than they had. But comparing that to what mine has been, percentage-wise, it just seems like it's much higher than it should be.
Again, I don't go down the street and go, I'm gonna hit somebody 10%, 15%. That's not fair. Things are varying condition and everything else.
Thank you.
And
So,
in my opinion, based on the sales that we have here, I'm not at the high end, I'm actually at the low end of the spectrum.
I'm
Which
sorry.
I have your sales and of course,
That's the original grievance and a
caps.
copy
Okay,
of
great,
the
yeah.
application for
Okay,
exemption.
so this is my copy that I had, or what is this now?
This is your copy of the grievance, so when you turn in your application for exemption, you can also say it's attached to this grievance on this property. That way they've got a copy of it.
I'm sorry, you've lost me totally. I'm taking this some,
worry about it, I looked at the
Oh.
income and you're
oh,
over.
so I don't even need to do this?
Correct, yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
Okay, you've already made it determination.
So, yeah, you would take this and subtract out this, and then add it to
Right,
number 11 is already over.
right. Right, but then I didn't know what would be deducted.
Nothing,
Nothing?
nothing. No income,
Okay.
yeah, so
Oh, I'm sorry you went through all that trouble with, okay, so just forget about this totally. Right, don't turn it into anybody. Okay,
Okay, so she doesn't have to go downstairs then.
you don't need a copy of anything from me?
So
regarding
that I'll give back to
Okay.
you.
So
And
this
then
is
you've
out.
got a copy of this, which is fine. We've got the original form for us.
Yes, you have my original, this is the form back to, this is the complaint of real property assessment is what you're
Right.
showing me, correct?
Right, so we got the
Okay.
original, which is all we need.
Right.
And then you have a copy of
I
this.
have a copy of that.
And then you have the original and a copy of the exemption information.
This is just going nowhere.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, well,
Unfortunately.
I don't know, they suggested I file it, so I did.
Well, yes, they
Yes,
didn't,
because-
they didn't have your numbers, of course,
Right,
but now,
right.
with Michelle looking at it,
Okay. Not a surprise to me, but I followed the directions of
That's
go
okay.
ahead and,
Yeah,
go ahead and file.
absolutely.
Don't, if you don't know, you don't ask.
absolutely.
Okay.
But as far as this is concerned, we've got your information,
You have, this is the information that I gave you, plus
got
my
you right here.
application.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
and then, we have some information from the city. So we'll take a look at both.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of your information. I didn't hear everything that you said. I'm sorry, because I was doing the forms.
Just your recap on,
Well, all I did was talk about the comparable sales. It's, my opinion,
but you
based
don't-
on the sales that in the area over the last few years, she didn't mention that she can play tennis in her backyard. She butts the Onondaga Park. I'm,
I know.
if that might be a
I
plus,
didn't,
it might
I have
not
a very
be.
large pine tree in front of my house. I didn't mention any of those things, no.
No.
Just the property itself.
No.
In comparison to the others in the percentage.
No, I understand what you're
Percentage of
saying.
fair market
And again,
value.
I don't want to go around adjusting on a percentage scale. There's reasons for there being some variance there.
so if you're good, we'll take everything into consideration, then the city will send you a notice, first
No
week of
other
April.
questions for me about my property then?
No, I think we're in
Okay.
good shape. You brought a lot of information as far as comparison is concerned. You don't have any pictures.
I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not have any photographs that I
Okay,
took.
and
I
that's
didn't-
fine,
Didn't
and
realize
that's-
that would have been a good supporting
Yeah,
documentation, but,
it does help us as far as condition is concerned.
okay.
But it's not
It's-
gonna,
It doesn't-
You can submit if you want. We can give you till Friday if you wanna submit pictures.
Picture of my old boiler.
Yeah, hey, anything that you can, the gentleman.
Because I'm thinking that when you go to sell a property, that's the thing that they're gonna look at.
Yes.
But it didn't occur to me that an old boiler would make any difference, but it's 30
Well, it
years
does.
old.
It does.
Okay.
It's not tens of thousands of dollars, but could be a minor adjustment here or there. Keep in mind that all the houses in that area were built around the same time, so a lot of them will have some of that same condition.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of comparing apples to apples,
Okay,
okay?
gotcha, yep,
But the pictures certainly would not hurt
okay.
if you did want to submit. If you do, though, we'll need to have them by close of business on Friday.
And they would be submitted to the assessor's office?
Yes.
Okay.
Pop them in an envelope with your address on it, and they'll put them in this file.
Okay,
And that helps. you know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not gonna, hurt you, but,
I mean, of course, I'm expecting property values to have risen, it's just a question of whether, how much.
Yes.
And how much the house will really
and
sell for.
also keep in mind, when was the last time, was it 2011 on the street?
2011 was the last time anybody adjusted streets in the neighborhood.
It's, yeah,
But I tell people, and I didn't tell the last gentleman, and I'll close it up with this, try to keep him, there's, what is there, 45,000 properties, or what?
Or a little bit over 40.
A little bit over 40,000 properties, and the market's always changing. So the assessor's office is trying to, keep
Yes.
up and keep everybody in the
Yes.
ballpark.
Right,
But the last time your street was looked at was 2011,
right,
right?
right,
And certainly, we think that things are worth more now than they were in 2011.
of course,
So, you probably have been under-assessed for some years,
possibly,
right?
possibly.
So, it all works itself out.
But the market varies. I mean, this market is very high right now.
Right,
But
so
it
the
could
market-
change.
But it
If it
doesn't
were to
really-
change, we would have to address it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
When would you address it if there
We,
was
could- we,
a
would-
significant drop?
we have and still continue to reduce assessments in certain parts of the city.
Okay.
Ebbs and flows.
When I actually bought my house, I bought it for less than it had been assessed at. So I was able to get a lower assessment just on the purchase of the house.
Sure, absolutely, and it does work that way as well.
It does, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Very welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, you too. Thanks for looking at that.
Of course, I just didn't want you to have to make the trip downstairs.
You didn't even buy those coffee cups. You went and stole them from where?
He's the coffee company.
Oh my God, here he comes again. He stole some more cups.
I'll tell you where I stole them when we step out in the hallway.
The law department's looking for them.
Sid, I'll pick up,
No, thank
I'll pick up my last check downstairs and,
Have a good day.
thank you, thank you. Do we have any to read in?
Oh, we do. We've got several that haven't shown up.
One needs to be rescheduled.
Okay.
All 12 year
And which one was that?
That would be, 121.
Okay, so the last one on our list, 121 Sunrise is gonna be rescheduled.
These three were no-shows. From experience last year, sometimes they'll call later in the day and to reschedule, but if you would like to read them in, just in case.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll read them in, I'll make a note as to what transpired, and then we'll revisit it, you know, if they reschedule or not. And I just want to make sure then we have, let me just put them in the order that we have on the street. Yeah. Okay, so the next three properties I'm gonna read in, and then I'll see what Ed has as far as documentation is concerned. These three currently did not show up for their hearing time, nor did they call to reschedule or cancel. 1506-1508 West Onondaga Street. Let me just get the, okay, the application, it's, looks like it's a two-family residential piece of property. Current tentative assessment of $62,016 with a land value of $7,500. Let's go to,
The 64 on here.
let's see here. Well, I have 40,000 on my sheet.
Assessed at 40.
Assessed
That
at 40.
64 is probably the market value.
Full market value.
Yeah, let's, let me adjust that. So the current tentative is $40,000 with a land value of $7,500. That would be equatable to a full market value of $64,000. This was filled in by the petitioner, so. Okay, now, the petitioner believes the fair market value is $47,500. I have something different on the sheet. I have 49.4. I'm assuming we go with what's on the sheet, or on the application. 47.5, 49.4.
Yeah, go with what's
Right
on
there.
here, yeah.
Yeah, 47.5. Okay. Yeah, I think it was just a typo because that comes out to 30,875 on 47.5. 47.5, 47.5. Okay, 29,687. Okay, again, this was a no-show, and let me just see if I can pull something off of here. Purchase price, 47.5 on October 20th of 2023. And it says the terms are contract. Nothing else is written, and that's the only thing in the file.
Yeah, this is a two-family. It was sold from one investor group to another investment group. It appears to be occupied. There's no, we request when it's an income property that we see what types of rents they're getting. That's not in the file. I believe that, my take is that it was from one investor to another. They actually paid less for it than what the seller purchased it for back in 2016 at $56,000. I think there's some funny business going on with that sale, and I'm gonna tell you that, don't see any room to make an adjustment. In fact, I feel as if the assessment is low. I had not raised the assessment on this. Based on sales in the area, there needs to be an adjustment to the assessment.
Okay, we'll take what you have. Paperwork-wise and everything that you said. Unless there's a reschedule, we'll make a decision and send a notice. The city will send a notice out first week of April. Okay, next one is 141 Cordova Street. And let's see what we got here. Once again, 141 Cordova Street. It is looks like a single-family residence. Let me just go to the numbers here. So it looks like the current tentative assessment is 70,700 with a land value of 16,160. That would be a market value of 113,120. Petitioner believes the fair market value is 105,400, which would be an assessed value of 65,875. Looks like the numbers match up there. This was and let me just see if I can pull out some information. Nothing about any recent or sale, nothing about any sale. Basically, there's the looks like there was a letter of authorization attached for somebody named Robert Payton. And then there is just some information. There is some information which we'll take a peek at. Looks like some appraisal information. And so we'll take a look at that. Ed, anything you want to?
Yeah. This is a bank-owned property. It's a ranch on Cordova. It's a corner property. It's a decent-sized ranch. Amazingly enough, this
Is it currently owned by the bank?
it's currently owned by a bank. They hired an appraiser, which I guess they maybe haven't taken a USPAP course in a while. It's dated 1/29/2024. And apparently they came in from Scottsdale, Arizona to appraise the property. You know, there's just no support for what their comparable sales that they chose to use are not ranches. They're all two-story old-style buildings. One of them was a foreclosure. I give no weight to, and if anybody wanted to pursue it, I think this person who, from Arizona, that's practicing appraisal practices in New York, they certainly have not demonstrated geographic competency.
I will take your information if you have any.
And I'd like to have that dismissed, too. I don't think that there's any reason to let it go any further than it has.
Okay, so 141 Cordova, you are requesting dismissal. So noted.
And it's rented, by the way, also. There's cars in the driveways.
That it's currently rented or occupied. This petitioner did not show up, and the assessor has recommended dismissal. Okay, thank you for that. And the last property today is 211 Craddock Street. This is number 8 on our list. Let's see, this appears to be a one-family residence. Numbers-wise, looks like we've got an assessed value tentative of $80,000. Do you have a land value on that by chance?
Yes, 7,800.
7,800 land value. Okay. That would be a market value of 128,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is 73,000, which would equate to a assessed value of 45,625. Let's see if I can pick anything else out. This as far as a recent sale. So it looks like the property was purchased for 72,000 in May of 2000. And it's just the application in here. This petitioner did not show up nor call at this point.
They have sales here that support the adjustment. I did increase it $7,000. You can take a look at the sales that more than support where I'm at.
Shall we just, we heard 5 hearings, 6, 7, and 8 were no shows, and 1 reschedule, and I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, let me just add this here. Thank you, Ed. And anything else you want to add?
Nope.
No? Okay, Ed?
Nope,
Wondering if there'll be heat tomorrow.
that cost extra.
Let me just close up. Thank you very much, everyone, for today. And so we keep it open. And we just adjourn until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thank you. All right, so these here, I think,
You need this back?
thank
Nope,
you.
that's yours.
Okay, I wrote
Thank
notes
you.
on it. I do
I'll
have a
give
couple
that back to you,
questions, but I
maybe.
don't know if you want, I don't want to ask them.
Yeah, we'll go out there. And, yeah, these take, I'll throw this out. I'll throw a little bit more coffee
There
in.
may still be a little bit of water in the back of that, so just be careful. Get it all over yourself, I don't care.
Whole area. Yeah, we'll close up.
Okay,
Do you have your parking pass?
yes.